Hi, I'm Sarah Martin, the Student Support Services TOSA here in Palm Springs Unified, and today we're going to be talking about whole group classroom management. Classroom management refers to the procedures, strategies, and instructional methods a teacher uses to enhance appropriate student behavior and engagement in learning activities. Classroom management includes a clear description of the organization and structure of the environment. This includes a description of the instructional activities, behavioral procedures, and routines, along with setting up a clear, comprehensible system of how a classroom will operate and how daily activities will occur so that appropriate behavior is encouraged and rewarded. Effective classroom management practices include the following features: highly structured. Post, teach, review, monitor, and reinforce expectations. Use clear strategies to engage students in instruction. Establish and use a continuum of responses to appropriate behavior and have a continuum of responses and strategies to respond to inappropriate behaviors. The rationale is when classrooms have clear rules for appropriate behavior that are consistently taught and reinforced, teachers spend less time addressing problem behaviors and more time in instructional activities. The first feature of classroom management that we will be looking at is providing structure. When providing structure, establish a schedule for how the instructional day flows, including transitions and free time, and consistently follow the schedule. Post the schedule visually so that all students can view it. Refer to the schedule throughout the day so that students can learn and predict the daily routine. If multiple adults are in the classroom, provide a schedule of what each adult will be doing within each routine throughout the day. Physically arrange the classroom so that adults can see all students and the students can see the adults. Students can move throughout the classroom without disturbing their peers. Use visual props or displays to indicate classroom procedures and routines, such as a stop sign on computers when they are unavailable. Next, we will look at behavioral expectations. Post, teach, review, monitor, and reinforce behavioral expectations. Establish, post, and routinely teach rules aligned with school-wide behavioral expectations. Provide opportunities for the student to show appropriate rule-following behavior. Prompt the student for appropriate behavior before the chance to exhibit inappropriate behavior. Embed classroom rules into daily lessons and activities. A specific behavior can be the focus each week. Set up weekly rewards for students who have been caught, most often following the class rules. An example of the behavioral expectations feature is a rule could be speak kindly to others, and it can be a theme for instructional activities. The students can play detective and count how many times the student and others are caught in the act of speaking kindly. Books that have characters struggling with speaking kindly to others can be read throughout the week as well. Next, we will look at the feature of actively engaging students. Increase the frequency of delivering instruction that provides students with opportunities to respond. For example, when providing content to students in a lecture mode, ensure that an opportunity to respond is provided at least once every 2 to 3 minutes. Include diverse ways of having the entire class respond to questions rather than calling on individual students. Strategies include response cards, whiteboards for writing answers, and using polling methods. Polling methods are excellent for engaging students as well as immediately showing graphs of how students responded and the proportion of correct responses. The next classroom management feature we're going to look at is reinforcing positive behavior. When developing your continuum of responses to acknowledge appropriate behavior, here are some tips. Provide specific praise following students performing behavioral expectations. Set up a token economy preferably aligned with a school-wide reward system. Set up group-oriented contingencies and provide incentives to student-based and individual behaviors. Set up groups or teams of students and clearly define the expectations and communicate with the groups regarding the incentives that they may win. Now we're going to look at responding to negative behaviors. When developing your continuum of responses to inappropriate behaviors, use error correction procedures. Respond immediately by stating the behavior the student performed and the behavioral expectation that it did not follow. The teacher will then model the behavioral expectation and ask the student to imitate the model of appropriate behavior. Also, develop a hierarchy of responses. An example of a hierarchy for disruptive behavior could include error correction, behavioral contracting, contacting parents, differential reinforcement, and conferencing with the student. Now, let's take a look at some steps for implementation. First, identify features and routines in which problem behaviors occur. Focus on specific activities the students are expected to do and what the function of their behavior is. Decide which of the 5 essential features of classroom management is being implemented. Decide how each of the identified features will be established and elicit student preference. Finally, develop lesson plans to directly teach the classroom management system to the students. Provide explanations for each component and model the behavioral expectations. That concludes this training video regarding whole group classroom management. Please reach out if you have any comments or questions. Thank you.